Are my pants okay and everything? Like I look decent? Okay,
You
side?
look great.
Oh, we're real. See, sing. Fair warning. Hello. Thank you. I have a smile on my face. Thank
I can
you.
see it in your eyes.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Mendenhall, for your immense time with us this afternoon. I know you have a lot going on. We are here with the Utah LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce and, of course, Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall. And we have some questions that we would like to ask, some kind of lighthearted and fun, and then some more specific into the LGBT community in Salt Lake City. So again, thank you so much for being here in this beautiful Allen Park, if you guys can see behind us here.
I'm so happy to be here with you, and you picked a great location. So if anyone who's watching this hasn't yet been to Allen Park, or what we affectionately called Hobbitville for generations here in Salt Lake City, come on down and check it out. It's our newest park, and it's just beginning, but it's open 7 days a week.
Awesome. Yeah, we were going to do a where are we filming, but I guess that went out the window when I said Allen Park. So.
You know, a peacock could come waltzing through here at any moment.
Oh my gosh, I want to see one. Anyway, we'll get right to it. We had some great questions submitted to our chamber, and the first one is actually my question. Is knowing what has happened in 2020, you know, earthquakes, hurricanes. Oh, I hope that's not a hurricane. You know, the social uprising, and of course our pandemic. Would you still be running for mayor? I guess taking back to 2019, is this something that you would still want to do?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and none of us could have predicted what 2020 was going to bring, but I still feel totally humbled to be in this role right now, and excited every morning I wake up to be able to find new ways to serve our people and create more opportunities. I ran to make change. I ran on a platform about equity. I talked about racism. We talked about structural and institutional problems that, frankly, disenfranchise a good portion of our community. And now the mandate to do that work is greater than I could have ever imagined. And the opening of our systems, from the physical separation and the heartbreak that's come with the pandemic, the economic opening that's come with the pandemic, and now the social change and our reckoning with 400 years of racism in this country, we get to do some deep work. So I am grateful that I've had 6 years before that on the city council to know city government, and I think I would be even more enthusiastic about wanting to be the mayor because of all of this right now.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. I love that you say that, and I feel like that is from your heart too. I believe what you're saying, unlike some politicians, and especially what we're dealing with currently. I appreciate that, and thank you.
It's a labor of love.
Absolutely. And you have a great team behind you. I know with the council and everyone's been great, and your office has been great to work with. So we appreciate them as well, being able to set this up. Ready for question 2?
Yeah.
They get progressively hard, and then I switch to an easier one. I know. I like to do that. What are currently some of the programs that the city is looking at implementing to bring small business back to downtown?
Yeah, we know that almost every business in the city has been impacted by COVID and was within just a couple of weeks of the pandemic announcement, even before people started getting sick. And so we worked right away to start asking small businesses, what is it that you're experiencing and what is it that you need? We heard from over 700 businesses, and that helped us and is still helping us as we continue the conversation, shape the policy. It helped us deploy that first $1 million for the Small Business Loan Fund. We got it out there weeks before the state or federal dollars were, and that's because we were talking and in the conversation, and we were politically willing and able to put that money out there. So we've continued to try to connect businesses with the assistance, but we know that after 3 months, that PPP is running out, and there's a cliff, a financial cliff, especially since the federal dollars are so limited and they can't come back and get second CARES Act assistance from the city or the county or the state. We need that to change, and in the meantime, we know we need more programs. So we did Open Streets SLC, which went through about half of September and into October until just last weekend, opening up Main Street from South Temple down to 4th South, allowing restaurants and bars to spill out into the sidewalks so that people could walk in the streets. We saw revenue in the majority of the businesses at pre-COVID numbers. We saw incredible amount of turnout. So we need to do more programs like that. And I think we should be looking at opening up larger amounts of pedestrian space that businesses can access to keep running.
Right. That's great. I was one of those people that were on the patios, and
yes,
I like the spill out. Hopefully it didn't spill too much onto the city streets. I'm sorry.
Well, there's another program cleaning up those spills.
Oh, okay.
If you want to go
Maybe
there.
I'll join that one. I might feel obligated to do that.
But we want to deploy the CARES dollars if they give us the flexibility from the Treasury to target businesses that are hardest hit, which are very much marginalized community, historically marginalized community business owners. And as much as we can, we will be targeting our funds to assist the businesses most in need.
Okay, great. Well, I love that. I love what you've done for the community, and we certainly appreciate it. That's why we're here today, to talk about the LGBT community as a whole. We've partnered with several diversity chambers, and we really have seen the marginalized communities be hit the worst with this pandemic, and so that's what the chamber strives to do, is help the underserved LGBT community. As you can see from our sign, our vision and mission. And so anyway, I appreciate mentioning the underserved community as well.
Can I mention one more thing, which is
Please.
Keep talking to us. Our economic development department in Salt Lake City wants to hear from you. We have small business specialists who are amazing individuals if you don't already know them. Mm-hmm. And we want to accommodate, flex our policies, and make our dollars as poignant as possible to help you. So please keep reaching out to us.
Absolutely.
And keep helping us know how we can do it better.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just, I was on the Human Rights Commission Zoom call last Monday, and I've talked to economic development, so I thank you for that. We'll continue that work we're doing. This is kind of a long question, and it's kind of two questions in one. So Salt Lake City has come a long way regarding LGBT protections. In 2016, the council had begun discussions of a public accommodations law. This is one of the issues that was noted in the recent HRC Municipal Equality Index, which rates LGBT inclusion in local law, policies, and services in 506 cities across the country. Any current discussions on how we can best impact our score, most recently, which was 66 out of 100. And this was specifically what I talked to the HRC Commission, one of the issues that they had said was front of mind for them as well.
Let me start with public accommodation.
Thank you.
And then go to the score, and I'll try to merge them together. As you know, Salt Lake City was the first to do a mutual commitment registry in the state of Utah, allowing same-sex couples to recognize their relationships through all of the human resource, public health, or the health insurance and other accommodations that the city offers its employees. And the work on the non-discrimination law that the state ultimately passed, I think for all of us who were involved in those discussions, understood and believed at the time that the inclusion of public accommodations in the non-discrimination law would not have led to its passage. I think that's why it was left out, and that's what we heard from some of the lawmakers who led that initiative at the time. Public accommodations in Salt Lake City has a high lovability. We want it. I personally am an advocate for it. And at Salt Lake City, I think, wouldn't hesitate to do it in order for us to do it in a way that is viable and doesn't end up having the legislature react in a way that prevents any other city in the state from putting those kind of protections in place. Means that we have to move ahead with the state. And that's why it's so important to have organizations like the LGBTQ Chamber and others work with our state representatives to understand what these basic human benefits and rights are, so that we can work in partnership with them. If we were to move alone as a city, I don't think that we would have a productive path.
Did you say lovable?
Yes.
That was awesome. I was like, did you do the mask? Was that lovable or livable? Okay, sorry.
Lovable.
Thank you. That's great.
Oh, okay, to the score on
Yes.
HRC. Yes, we rated at 66, and I think Salt Lake City, there's some technical issues that have led to a lower score. I believe that we're going to end up scoring this year quite a bit higher because this was one of the first things we got to work on when I started the job back in January. There's a couple of areas where we know we can improve, and we're actively working on that right now. Weston Clark, who runs community engagement
We
for
love
my
Weston.
office. We love Weston. He's
Yes.
helping us work with all the departments that end up interfacing with our city score. You know that we
Good.
have one of the highest LGBTQ populations per capita in the country, and I think that speaks to the culture that we worked so hard to create, not only as a community, but through our policies and our investments as a city. So know that the political willingness is absolutely there to do this.
Sure.
There's areas around the municipality as an employer where we can improve, law enforcement where we can improve. One of the specifics that's led us to not getting as good a score on enforcement, law enforcement, is that the liaison for the LGBTQ community needs to have a human name attached to it, not just a phone number and an email, which is the way that Salt Lake City Police Department functions currently. If you go to the website and look who that liaison is, it's going to give you the contact information, but not a specific name. So there's some technical things that we're actually, I think, doing the spirit of what they're asking, but we need to tighten up the way we do it to make sure that we get the credit we deserve.
Sure. That's great. Well, thank you. I'm so happy to hear that that's on your radar when so many other things, and I know you're pulled in so many different directions, and so I can only imagine. So we thank you for that. And
Can I go one layer deeper on that?
please,
It's-
can she go one layer deeper? I think so.
It's so important, not only for our own employees, for residents of the city, for people who come into the city to go to work or to shop or to see a show, but when we talk about the growing economy that we have here, we're the fastest growing state in the nation. Salt Lake City has been the epicenter for housing growth in the state of Utah pretty much every single year. How we grow matters, and the businesses that we attract here, it matters to us. Those aren't just the economic wheels that keep the wheels on the bus, so to speak, of day-to-day life, but it's the job opportunities, it's the opportunities for my kids in their future and everyone's children. And we want the kind of industries who prioritize diversity, who respect diversity, and build it into the corporation that they are, and then seek out cities who align with those values. So it's important to us on so many levels, and it's a really important part of our future. That's a really effective tool for companies to look at when they're
absolutely.
thinking about where to go.
This could go in so many different directions, and I keep thinking of so many awesome questions, but, I know your time's limited, so we'll keep going. Thank you.
Do you have one more?
Let's do, yes.
Or
I have
two?
two more.
Okay, good.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Awesome.
thought you were cutting me off, Tracey.
No, I wasn't cutting you off, Mayor. I would never do that. I want to be, cognizant of your time.
Thank you.
And
yours.
thank you. This is all I had on my schedule today. This was the most important thing ever. Not the only thing, but I'm going to mix up one of the questions a little bit here because that was kind of a serious one. I'm going to take it back a minute, and then we'll end on more a serious one that's very, very dear to my heart. So the next one is what do you like most, and you sort of alluded to this, but what do you like most about being the mayor of Salt Lake City?
At the most fundamental level, I just love people. I like making friends at the grocery store and and on a walk at Allen Park.
Yeah.
And so the honor that it is to do this work of figuring out how to help our people every single day. And in the circumstances of 2020 where our tools have had to change, the way we work has had to change in almost every regard, I couldn't be in a happier position. I get to help our residents solve problems from your garbage didn't get picked up all the way to your business is falling apart because there's not enough assistance to get you through a pandemic, to the streets are crumbling and how are we going to maintain our infrastructure with more than our city's taxpayer dollars. It is such a passion for me, and the best part, besides serving our residents in new ways every day, is Salt Lake City staff. They're incredible people. These are true public servants who love doing public service, and they respect the public dollar, and they just want to do what's right for our people. So the 3,000 plus employees that we have are busting their butts out there to do the best job they can for you, and it is the honor and pleasure of my life to be in this role.
Well, that gives me all the chills, and it really does make me, proud to be in the city. And there's, so many things we can hem and haw over. And I lived in San Diego for a time, which I love that city. But it's these discussions that I appreciate and really will bring the best people and the brightest people to Salt Lake City. And we'll continue to help your office in whatever way we can to make that happen.
Thanks, Tracey. It brought you. So we're doing something right here.
Right? Okay. Final question. I just mentioned this, but we will continue to be a support system to your office regarding LGBT women and BIPOC entrepreneurs as a whole. Is there an opportunity to provide grants to these underserved communities? That's part one. I like doing part two questions, I guess, for some reason. Along with that, would you be willing to sign, this is what's near and dear to my heart and something we'll talk a lot about today at our Economic Summit. This will be happening October 22nd. But would you be willing to sign an executive order for LGBTBE? The LGBTBE means that you're 51% or greater LGBT business owned, to level the playing field for our community in procuring contracts with the city.
I'm going to take the last one first.
Okay, good.
And then go back up to the front one. Yes, and I believe that our HRC is bringing that in the form of a resolution or an EO forward to us through economic development. That's something I'm expecting to be on my desk shortly.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it. So what shape it takes, I could see the council probably wanting to consider a joint resolution. I haven't had that conversation with them yet, but there's a lot of ways that it could go, and I'm excited to put my name on it.
Sweet.
And the first question was...
is there an opportunity to provide grants?
Oh, yes.
To underserved communities?
So I'll give you a two-part answer to your two-part question on that segment.
Awesome.
Which is that we are working right now with the Sorensen Impact Center at the University of Utah, and the City Council recently gave us some funding to do an initial exploration with them on a social impact bond for historically marginalized community members in Salt Lake City. What that means is, one, Salt Lake City's never done anything like this, but Salt Lake County has. And it's where you focus investment on an outcome that you believe will be generated by this particular focused investment in some piece of the economy, in our case. We want to see if we invest in women-owned businesses, LGBTQ plus owned businesses, racially marginalized community-owned businesses. How will that, which our hypothesis is that it will absolutely have a disproportionately positive economic impact, not only for the individuals who are involved, but for the economy as a whole. So we're beginning that work. Thank you to the City Council for granting us the funding. And I think that's a really important first step to see how exactly could we deploy specific grant funding, loan funding, which I think would be a pretty significant amount of money in a way that is going to have the biggest impact with the community that needs it and deserves it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I didn't know that was happening. See all these things happening behind the scenes with
City Council
Mayor
meetings
Mendenhall.
are quite intriguing, actually.
I have actually joined a few meetings on whatever ones are public on your Facebook page, so it's been quite enlightening. I don't know how y'all do it, but
stamina is important.
right. Well, you certainly have that and more.
Thanks, Tracey.
Any questions for us or anything you want to say? We're super excited. I was super excited to see Allen Park was something, from my high school days. I remember driving up here and maybe getting in a little trouble. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
We may have talked about this too.
There is a peacock behind you over there. It's a pretty magical place
so
still.
Cute.
Yeah, and what we'll do here, so I guess if we're wrapping, I would give an invitation, a two-part invitation in the theme of this interview. One is just engage with us. We are here working for you. We're working on your dollars, and we are your public servants. We want everything from the future of Allen Park to the way we invest in our infrastructure, and whether that's promoting public transit before we do other projects, to the way we invest through economic development, the redevelopment agency, our housing trust fund, all those dollars that the city directs to your good and benefit, we need to hear from you. So engage with us on reimagining our parks, which is a public outreach initiative we're doing right now, and I hope you'll be able to share that contact info. And then to all of the business partners who are a part of this summit today, if you don't have Salt Lake City's economic development phone number in your phone, please put it in there. We're going to put the number up for you and some way, technologically, and put that number in there because we love you, we need you, we want you, and we want to serve you well.
Cool. Well, thank you so much again. Thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate, and we know you're watching out for us. And I know politically and otherwise it can be a struggle to work in some regards. And so keep fighting the good fight, and we're here to back you and support you in any way possible.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.